People often mislabel intermittent fasting as a diet. It's actually a pattern of eating that involves alternating periods of fasting and eating. That sounds difficult. Why would anyone want to do that? Stick around until the end of this video to have your excuses shot down, learn the benefits, and discover the most sustainable method for a full body recomp. The goal of the fasting period is to abstain from any food and drink that has any caloric value. During your eating period, you can consume your usual diet. The most desired benefit of intermittent fasting is increased weight loss. The main way it benefits weight loss is by reducing overall calorie intake. When you decrease the amount of time you have to eat, you're naturally going to eat less food. Plus, by having your meals in a smaller time frame, you'll be less likely to snack on high-calorie foods. Intermittent fasting also helps boost your metabolism and burn stored body fat. During normal circumstances, your body uses glucose as its primary source of energy. Once you get 12 hours into a fasting period, your body begins a process called ketosis. This leads to increased fat burning and reduced body fat percentage over time. I know. Hearing all this is setting off alarms and all sorts of red flags are popping up in your head. And if you've heard of intermittent fasting but haven't tried it, you've probably made excuses to talk yourself out of it. So, let me address those. Intermittent fasting will be too difficult for me to follow. False. It can be challenging at first, but once you get into a routine, it becomes a habit just like anything else. You just have to find a method that fits your lifestyle and preferences. The 16-8 method seems to be the easiest to follow since you have the opportunity to sleep through half your fasting period. Intermittent fasting will slow down my metabolism. False. This is a big misconception. Intermittent fasting actually increases your metabolic rate and improves your insulin sensitivity. The drop in metabolism is caused when you aren't eating enough calories during your feeding window. Intermittent fasting will cause muscle loss. False. It actually helps preserve muscle mass, especially when you combine it with exercise. You may lose muscle if you don't eat enough protein, but you won't have to worry about that if you follow the plan laid out at the end of this video. Intermittent fasting will make me feel tired and sluggish. False. Some may experience fatigue during the first few days of intermittent fasting, but it usually goes away once your body adjusts. Many people report feeling more alert and energized after starting intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting is not safe. False. Outside of pregnancy, breastfeeding women, and individuals with diabetes, intermittent fasting is considered safe for healthy adults. Intermittent fasting is too restrictive. False. Intermittent fasting can be quite flexible. You can choose the schedule that works best for your lifestyle and still eat the foods you enjoy during your feeding windows. Intermittent fasting will make me binge eat. False. Intermittent fasting can actually help you develop a healthier relationship with food. It encourages mindful eating and can reduce cravings. Intermittent fasting will mess up my hormones. False. It can actually improve hormone balance, especially insulin and growth hormone. Both hormones are important for the recovery and building of muscle tissue. Intermittent fasting is just a fad. False. Although it's gained popularity recently, it's not a new concept. Some form of intermittent fasting has been practiced for thousands of years. Intermittent fasting is only for weight loss. False. Intermittent fasting is excellent for weight loss, but it also has other great benefits. First off, intermittent fasting improves insulin sensitivity. Think of insulin as a bouncer at a club. It decides when glucose is moved into body cells. The more sensitive cells are to insulin, the more responsive they will be. This is an important factor in maintaining healthy blood sugar levels. Once cells become resistant to insulin, blood sugar levels will begin to increase and eventually lead to type 2 diabetes. Every time you eat, your pancreas releases insulin to help facilitate the uptake of glucose. So if you're eating a lot, your pancreas is producing a lot of insulin, keeping levels high over long periods of time. By practicing intermittent fasting, you keep insulin levels low, allowing cells to be more sensitive to it. Intermittent fasting can also improve the function of the pancreas. When the pancreas becomes overworked, it can become damaged and produce less insulin. Periods of fasting allow the pancreas to rest, improving insulin production. Intermittent fasting can also increase your longevity. The main way that it does this is promoting autophagy. This is a natural process where damaged or dysfunctional cells are broken down and recycled. This helps remove cellular waste and prevents the buildup of harmful substances that can contribute to aging and disease. The shift in metabolism from using glucose to burning fat triggers autophagy. This improves cellular health and reduces disease like cancer, Alzheimer's, and heart disease. Intermittent fasting has also been shown to reduce inflammation in the body. One way it does this is by reducing insulin growth factor 1. When IGF-1 levels are too high, it can contribute to inflammation and disease. The body produces less IGF-1 during periods of fasting, reducing inflammation and triggering autophagy. Another way intermittent fasting reduces inflammation is by reducing the number of white blood cells called monocytes. High levels of monocytes have been associated with an increased risk of heart disease and diabetes. Intermittent fasting also reduces inflammation by reducing oxidative stress. When you fast, you produce fewer free radicals that damage cells and contribute to inflammation. This triggers the production of antioxidant enzymes that neutralize free radicals. Finally, intermittent fasting improves brain function. One way it does this is by promoting the growth of new nerve cells through neurogenesis. Intermittent fasting has also been shown to improve the ability of the brain to form and strengthen connections between nerve cells. Both are important for the preservation of memory. There is also an increase in serotonin. This neurotransmitter is important for regulating mood and reducing feelings of anxiety and depression. It's the time you've all been waiting for. I will now reveal the master plan. The 16-8 method is what you'll use. You'll fast for 16 hours of the day and have an 8-hour window where you'll be able to eat. Your day will look similar to this. 6 a.m. Wake up and get ready for your day. 7 a.m. Drink your black coffee or another zero-calorie caffeinated beverage. It's very important that you have 0 calories until your feeding window opens. Caffeine will act as an appetite suppressant to help you when you first start off. 10 a.m. Drink another caffeinated beverage. 12 p.m. Your lunch break. Your feeding window is now open. Eat your first meal. 2:30 p.m. Have a small snack. 5 p.m. Get off work and head to the gym to train. I can't stress enough the importance of training to maintain your muscle mass and shape your body. 6 p.m. Eat your post-workout snack and head home. 6:30 to 8 p.m. Eat your final meal. Now you'll have to adjust some things based on your own individual situation, but this method is easy and sustainable. To further benefit, calculate a calorie target and have aiming points for your macronutrients. I've attached a link in the description to a calculator that will guide you based on your goal. Whatever you do, keep your protein intake high to maintain muscle mass. I've also linked a food calculator to help you keep track of your calories. If intermittent fasting sounds great, but you're worried it'll have an effect on your workouts, you may want to learn about this supplement.